Islamic tourism as an anchor industry for economic development, a case study of Indonesia Tourism Revenue Growth 2002 until 2021. This work will be presented by my colleague Mr. Rafar Abdulqadar الأمير and Mrs. Bلقادي مريم. The Islamic religion and culture has always supported tourism for several reasons, both religious and social. In Islam, traveling is considered as a religious deed, such as Al-Hajj, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which is a great argument. However, there is ambiguity when it comes to this concept, which led to our research problem. What is the meaning of Islam tourism and its impact on the tourism economy in Indonesia, and what is the size of Indonesia's tourism revenue? From this, we have highlighted our research questions as follows. What is the effect of the vulnerability of the economy and potential roles of tourism? What are the new trends of tourism and new initiatives? What is the tourism contribution to the social economic impact? What is the impact of tourism information on the tourism economy? What is the meaning of the Islamic tourism, and what is the size of Indonesia's tourism revenue? Now, the growth, potential, and benefits of the global tourism sector. Academic literature regarding the global tourism sector focuses on the economic benefits of society, but it also underlines social, cultural, and environmental benefits. According to the World Tourism Organization 2018, Tourism Highlights report in 2017, 1.326 million tourists were spending an estimated $1.340 billion, which represented an increase of 7% compared to 2016. As in the past, Europe led the world to a tourist destination, which is approximately 672 million tourists. This number represented an increase of 8% over the previous year. And these tourists spend around $519 billion. The World Trade and Tourism Council in their March 2018 report estimated that the global tourism sector has a direct contribution of $2,570.1 billion to global GDP, and it forecasted to reach 3.6% by 2028. Now, tourism as an anchor industry for economic development and cultural transformation. As previously mentioned, many nations have identified tourism as an anchor industry that would positively influence their entire economy and cultures. Nations like Spain and Greece, where tourism is close to 20% of GDP, are potent motivators to development countries such as Romania. Uniquely, if they are enriched with the natural components of a tourism destination, such as mountains, historical towns, castles, etc. However, additional reasons why a tourism-led national economic development plan should be adopted by Romania and other developing nations. Also, the advent of artificial intelligence is poised to negatively affect even the coved white-collar jobs, which will further aggravate the current situation. As you can see here in the graph, we have the results. In 2022, COVID-19 restrictions have influenced the number of tourists. Nevertheless, the international tourism of Indonesia have been increasing over the year, and Indonesia has become a popular holiday destination. As you can see here in the second graph, tourism revenues in Indonesia decreased to $76.94 million in the third quarter of 2021 from $121.04 million in the second quarter of 2021. Foreign tourist arrivals in Indonesia declined by 0.28% year-on-year to 163.6 thousand in December 2021. Amid COVID-19 restrictions to curb rising cases of the Omicron strain, the number of arrivals by air in Bali, the center of the Indonesian tourism industry, sank 100% to zero, and those reaching Jakarta fell 23% to 16.7 thousand. Also, the number of arrivals by ship in Batam dropped by 33.55% to 313 tourists declined mainly from Singapore, the Philippines, and Myanmar. From the whole year, tourist arrivals sloped 61.57% to 1.56 million. As you can see in the next graph, we have key information about Indonesia tourism revenue. Indonesia's tourism revenue reached $18 in December 2019, compared with $18 in the previous year. Indonesia's tourism revenue data is updated yearly, available from December 2003 to December 2019. The data reached an all-time high of $18.404 in December 2019 and a record low of $4.461 in December 2003. We have here another graph, view Indonesia's tourism revenue growth from 2003 to 2019 in the chart. Indonesia tourism revenue grew 2.7% in December 2019, compared with an increase of 21.9% in the previous year. Indonesia tourism revenue growth rate data is updated yearly, available from December 2003 to December 2019. The data reached an all-time high of 39% in December 2008 and a record low of 25.7% in December 2009. The data reached an all-time high of 39.9% in December 2008 and a record low of 25% in December 2009. The EIC calculates annual tourism revenue growth from annual tourism revenue. The World Bank provides tourism revenue in US dollars. As a conclusion, various studies, Sinclair 1998, suggested that when the attempts to identify and interpret the relationship between tourism and economic activity, we must consider it from 2 points: the advantages and disadvantages of tourism development. Tourism, like any other impetus for economic development, potentially has both positive and negative influences of communities and their residents. Generally speaking, the positive contributions that tourism can make include the provision of hard currency.